Today I'm going to use this BetterPress plate set, and it's called Butterfly Silhouettes. It's part of the Wildflowers collection by Horton. Now this includes the butterfly plate, which you would color, and the second plate, which layers on top for the outline. And then the third piece would be the die if you're done, and you can die cut the pieces out. Now this comes with a registration plate. So this is just a piece of acetate, and I'm just showing you against this piece of white paper because my BetterPress platform is pretty dirty and it's hard to see. So you can see that this would be put down onto this platform, and then you would just tape it down to secure it because you don't want this to move. I've also taped down this this piece. I'm not sure what all the pieces are called, but this is the gridded piece that's in here. And it does shift a bit, so I just use some of the Spellbinders tape, and I taped it down so it won't move. So you would take this first piece, and I'm just going to show you how to do this top butterfly because there's also a side view butterfly. But I'm just going to start there. So this is a magnet. It should stay in place. And then I'm going to get some ink. I'm going to use some Altenew ink that I have. And I'm just going to, put down some color. I always start with the lightest color, which is, in this case, the yellow. I'm going to try to put some of this here. This is an orange color. And this cherry sweet color. I'll link everything that's available in the video under description for the supplies, or you could go to my blog at susanbcards.blogspot.com, and I'll have everything listed there. So that's where you start. I have a piece of A2 size paper, and I taped it on with mint tape to keep it in place. Now I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So here's the inked up piece, and it's still wet. It should smooth out a little bit, but it doesn't need to smooth out that much because I'm going to use the outline over it. Put the tape back on. I moved that by accident. Hopefully it stayed in place. Now I'm going to take the outline piece and I'm going to line it up again. Just want to see. Looks pretty good. I have permanent black from Altenew. Try not to shift this too much. Okay, that should be pretty good. I haven't moved the paper. It's still taped here in place. Okay, so here you go. And that looks pretty good since nothing shifted. Now that's inking something in two pieces. You can foil on top of foil without ruining anything. So you need to line this up. So I had to figure out a way to line up my Glimmer hot foil machine. And since it's not the same as the BetterPress, it makes it a little bit harder. First of all, you need something like a registration plate, and I didn't want to use the one that I had because it's made out of acetate or some kind of plastic. And I was really afraid that it would melt on my Glimmer hot foil machine. When you think about it, how do you put this down? Put foil on top, put paper on top, and run it through, and then put the outline on. Like, how are you going to get that exactly in the same place? You would have to figure out some way to either tape it down or to make your own registration plate. So I did have an idea for this, and I'll show you what I did. Since this BetterPress set comes with a die to cut out the pieces, I thought I could make a template out of paper and place this down, put this here, you know, maybe tape it in place, put the foil on, put the paper on top, run it through, and then take this off after I was done with the first layer, and then put this one down, put the black or whatever color foil I wanted to use, put the paper back in, run it through again. Now I did try that and things shifted, even though, you know, you tape this in place, whatever. So I came up with using a hinge method. Now the hinge method, I think I've seen with Yana Smokula's videos when the Glimmer first came out. So I'm going to show you how to make a hinge using the template and another piece of paper. I have some small pieces of mint tape. Now I want to be sure that this mint tape isn't going to hit any place the butterfly is. I'm just going to rip a little bit of that off, because you don't want any tape to be hitting where the plate, the paper, or the foil is going to be, because it'll leave a mark. So again, just putting this here in the corner, and then just going to trim a little bit more off of this one, and this should be enough of a hinge. So you can see, you can put this down. I have my platform heating up here. I'm going to put the solid plates in first. Now remember that when you die cut, it's a little bit, the cut's a little bit larger than where the plates are. So I'm just trying to line that up a bit, and the machine's already hot, but okay. So that is the first level. Now I'm just going to try to keep this in place as well by taping this here. Now I have the hot foil, and this is a pretty prism, pretty side down again, and then closing this. I'm going to put my plates on top, and I'm going to let this heat up. Now my plates are kind of in bad shape too, because I forgot to put paper in once when I ran it through the machine, so it put foil on my plates. This is just a paper shim I have in here, and just sometimes the center of my machine doesn't foil as well, and you know, I don't know why that is. I think over time maybe it just got a little bit used a lot in the center, so I just put a shim in here. I know that I have to do that. Not everybody has to do that. And then I'm going to heat this up and run it through. Okay, I ran it through. Just going to carefully pull this off, and hopefully you can see it, because I don't want to pick this paper up and run the chance of moving everything. So I have a little bit of overfoiling on here. Now it's okay if this, I realize it's okay if this paper moves. I don't even need this mint tape as long as the paper stays in the same spot. So just going to take those off. Now I'm just going to replace this with the outlines. Just putting them, popping them right back in where they were. And now I have a black piece of hot foil. I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to close the hinge. Put this on top and let that run through. Now, some people have a problem removing this. it's hard to get your hand in here, and you don't want to bend the pins that are holding this in place. So what I do is I like to slide this hot foil, Glimmer hot foil machine down, and I have it on a small glass plate here. And it just gives me enough of a lip here so that I could hold this in place, get my fingers underneath, and it has enough room so that I have enough leverage to pull this out without bending anything up or down. Now, if you don't have a glass work plate, you can also just move this machine down to the very edge of your desk or your table, and you can use that edge as leverage to put your hand and pull this out. It does make it easier, and you don't accidentally pull this up or pull it down and bend the pins. So I hope that's a good explanation of what I do. I found that just using the small platform with it has just a little bit of a lip, and I put my fingers against this lip and then pull this out. I hold everything in place. So maybe that's helpful. Okay, so now I can take this out of the off the Glimmer machine because I'm done, and I have now outlined my butterflies with the black. There's a slight overfoiling here. I'm just going to use an eraser to take that off, and I have a little bit of overfoiling here. But other than that, you can see this one came out pretty nicely. It might have shifted when I moved everything, but I don't think it really did much. I think that looks great. And then now I can use my dies and cut this out. You know, maybe I don't even need to erase this. We'll see how it looks when I cut it out. So I'll be right back. Here are my butterflies. So you can see that I used prism foil and then black foil for the outline. Those came out really nice. Now, the nice thing about this template is that after I die cut the pieces that I just foiled out, I now have another template. So you can use these. And this one you'd be able to use over and over, but if something happened, if it ripped or whatever, every time you cut out butterflies, you'd have another one. I wanted to show you that you could also use this template with the BetterPress as well, if you don't want to use the acetate that comes with the set. Now, the reason I probably would use this rather than the acetate is because, as you saw, my platform is very dirty and it's hard for me to see the outline. So I can take my template. This one is cut from 85-pound paper. And now I can put my BetterPress plates in here. Now, because they're the plates, they're a little bit higher than the cardstock. So the ink will still sit and print well. I ran it through my machine, and here's the result. Now I'm going to take the plates out. These are the solid plates. And I'm going to put in the outline plates. Okay, I'm going to use some black archival ink. And I'll run this through. And here's the outline. So I'm going to die cut these and use them on a card. I die cut the butterflies. And now I have another template. And now I can take this one and just toss it. It has ink all over it anyway. The other thing I can do with this is use it as a stencil. And I've done that before. I just take this and tape it down to another piece of paper underneath. And then that way I can figure out which areas need to be colored. And I just use a blending brush and some colors. And then I take that and foil the outline. I don't have to do the background inked. So I foiled the background here and then die cut it. And there's color all the way to the edges on this. So it just depends on, you know, which one you would rather have. There is a little bit of color here. And often I do take, you know, either ink or a marker and just to darken these edges a bit so they're not so stark. Here are some of the cards that I made using the butterflies. This is the prism with the black outline, and I have extra of these that I just made to show you. This one is ink on ink, and then you can see that I just took a marker to match this background paper and colored it so it wouldn't be real stark against the paper. Otherwise you would have something like this where the white just really stands out, and some people might like that. I just thought it was such a pretty subtle background that it was nice to have it blend in. This paper is from Your Paper Insider, and it's not available anymore, but it's a subscription service where they deliver a box of paper to you 4 times a year. And it's nice because you get a lot of specialty paper, and I wouldn't normally go and seek out this kind of paper, but it's delivered to my house, so I have it on hand, and I just thought it made it, you know, extra special. And I use the sentiment that is from the same collection for this, and I just, you know, used the shadow die with a scrap of this paper, just going to a solid area. And the same thing with this. This is a BetterPress with black ink, and I just pressed it right onto, you know, a solid area of this paper that was a scrap, and that way everything kind of blends in. This flower is also part of the collection. It's called Gladiolus, but I'll link everything in the description below. For this card, I use Rainbow Metallic Glimmer hot foil, and then I use black hot foil for the outline, and then I used a silver metallic marker and just you know, colored the edge in so that it would match the background here. And this is an embossing folder from Spellbinders, and I'll link that below also. And then I took some silver Sizzix wax and just rub my finger over this. This last one is the Holographic Glimmer hot foil with a black outline that's hot foil. And this background is something I made using the jelly plate and distress paint on it, and I just rolled it on. And because that paint is pretty fluid, it just pooled up, and when I pressed the print, this is what came out, and I thought it was so pretty. And I've tried to duplicate it, but I have been unable to, so I'm not sure why it came out this time, but I can't seem to do it again. But it's fun to just kind of experiment with different things, ink, paint, and the gel plate. So those are the cards, and I use a template for all of these. And I found it to be pretty easy and nice to use with the Glimmer hot foil machine. So thanks for watching. I hope you found the video helpful. And again, products are linked below in the description and on my blog at susanbcards.blogspot.com. I'll see you next time.